Let me know.
You're good. Let's hit it.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm waving at you. I'm not really in the dark, but it looks like it. Hello. I'm so glad you're here. We are so excited to work with you to help people who are going to potentially or are going to move into your community. And what you do is so important. So thank you for being the kind and caring people that you are. The orientation today will take an hour. We will go relatively quickly. We know that you guys are great stewards of your community, but we just want to remind you of a few things that maybe you don't know or haven't done before. So I am going to invite you to either, well, since I don't think most of you are using a computer, we won't use the chat function, which sometimes people will use to make notes. But if you have a question, we will have a question and answer at the end. So jot yourself a note and then ask me at the end. Also, if you have a piece of paper and a pencil, we are going to do a little fun writing thing. So feel free to get one if you have one, and if you don't have one, that's fine too. You can just know that this is being recorded, and you can ask your neighbor, what did she say? I want to welcome you. My name is Jamin Johnson. I work for Ebenezer as a corporate marketing consultant. So I work with people in your communities to help them to let people know that your communities are taking new residents. So I want to, again, thank you for today, and I'm going to turn to my project. I'm going to actually close my pictures of all of you, and I'm going to put on the screen a slideshow. So if you cannot see the slideshow, I'm going to ask that you unmute yourself and holler, we can't see it, and we'll go from there, okay? So, all right. So, could someone like Rachel, can someone let me know if you can see this? Or Jennifer? I'm good? Thank you.
Looks good.
So, thank you again. I appreciate knowing that you can all see it. Technology is amazing, isn't it? All right, so we're at Resident Ambassador Training. And who are you all? Look around at your neighbor who's sitting around you. There are people who enjoy meeting new people, and there are people who enjoy answering questions about the great place that you live. And there are folks that enjoy sharing information in your community about who to go to and what to do and how does something work. And there are folks who enjoy hosting community events and activities. That's who's around you. And if you don't know them, maybe they live down the hall, you wave at them across the room occasionally, but these are people that you would enjoy getting to know. So if you don't know your neighbor ambassador, get to know them, because both of you have similar traits. What is ambassador going to do? Well, here's what the ambassadors are going to do. We're going to invite you to be a part of tours, greeting guests who are coming in to tour our communities and give a brief testimony. So we're going to talk a little bit about what is a brief testimony. Events, you're going to assist with current and or prospective resident events by greeting the people and again giving a brief testimony. If you have like an open house, or you have maybe a happy hour that you invite people to, you will assist by wearing your name tag and you will greet people who you haven't seen before who are guests. A friendly face. When new people move into your community, you're going to be one of the welcome wagon, as they used to call it. You're going to welcome people and make them feel more at home and less like, I just moved in and I don't know anyone. So you're the friendly face that welcome them. You are somebody who's going to introduce people around. You'll wear your name tags again to tours and events and other kinds of things. And you will introduce people to each other. So you can say to somebody that you do know, Fred, I'd like you to meet my new friend, Bob. He likes to play cards too. We should invite him to the card playing group. Host, you'll invite new residents to meals and activities and sit with them. You maybe can remember what it was like when you first moved in and you had some fears or concerns like who will I sit with at dinner? Well, as an ambassador, one of your jobs is to make friends with people and introduce them and make them feel welcome. So inviting them to meals and then sitting with them, or inviting them to go down and listen to the music concert and sitting by them will really make them feel important and part of your community. And you don't have to eventually be best friends with this person, but the first couple of times that they go to something, it would be nice if you would invite them to gather along with you and whoever else you'd like to hang out with. Visiting. We're asking ambassadors to stop by and visit with new residents and ask if they need anything. This is not a daily kind of thing. This is not like, oh my gosh, how much time is this going to take? This is going to be on your own time, when it works for you. When your executive director or your outreach and salesperson says, hey, we've got somebody who's moving into 210. Would you stop and say hello to them? Well, during quarantine, I know that you can't do that in terms of going in and saying hello and chit-chatting and things like that. But certainly you could drop off a little note, or you could put a little poster on their door, or you could stop by with some prepackaged cookies and knock on the door and run. No, just kidding. You could knock on the door and back up and say, welcome on board, and I brought you some cookies. All those great kinds of things you can do to make people feel welcome. In addition to those kinds of things, if you have an interest and you have time and you really enjoy your outreach and sales director, then you could help out with additional things that they might need some support with. Like if you have a raffle for an event you have, and we need to get a hold of the prize winners, maybe you want to give them a jingle and be like Santa Claus and say, you won. We'd love you to stop by and pick up your prize. Or maybe they're going to do some sort of an open house and they want to have a question and answer time with people who live in the building. You might be somebody that they invite to be a part of that. Or maybe there are other things that they might be looking for some assistance with that you would enjoy doing. So they might contact you and ask you if you would be interested. So those are the kinds of things that you'll be doing. And this will be on your own time when you have the interest and time to do it. And that's why there's 2 or 3 or 4 of you in the building. The first time that somebody comes and goes on a tour or visits for a happy hour or comes for an open house or some other kind of a thing, there's a lot of things going through people's minds. And if you stop for a minute and you think about when you first came to your community, I'm going to give you a second. Okay, 5 seconds. What did you feel like when you first came to the building? You probably felt pretty like, wow, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to learn a lot, and I just want to see what this is all about. And maybe a little like, is this the place for me? And that can bring on a little excitement and fear. Ask yourself, why did you visit your community? And what kinds of things did you want to know about? For a lot of us, we want to know about how's the food here? We want to know, do people communicate and are they friendly? What kind of services are offered? What's the cost? And what are some of the fun things that you do here socially? So if you think about it, what were 3 things that you wanted to know? If you unmute yourself, you could shout a few out. Anybody? I hear somebody trying to talk. We can't hear you.
Right down low.
So what was something that you wanted to know when you came to visit?
Where's the bar?
Where's the bar? All right. That's a really good thing to know. When's the happy hour?
Yeah.
Who's in charge of maintenance? Do I have my own thermostat? Especially for people whose temperature go up and down. Think about who helped you and how they made you feel. And what specifically did they do to make you feel welcome? Did they smile at you? Did they shake your hand? Did they offer you a warm cookie from the lobby or a cup of coffee? How did you decide that where you live now in our communities was the right fit for you? There had to been a lot of decisions made and you decided that we were a good place to be. That's why you're invited to be a part of this program, is because you're going to help other people who may find that your community, your neighborhood, your culture in your community is the right place for them. Okay, so what are the best practices for ambassadors? Number 1, smile, 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 smile. Okay. In case you missed it, smile, smile, smile. And the reason that I say this over and over again is because sometimes we are so into things that we forget to smile, and we all wear these crazy masks for protection, and that will go away at some point, but they can still see smiling through your eyes because you're, like me, you get crow's feet. So they want to see that you're smiling. They want to see that you're happy. And sometimes people think they're showing they're happy, and they're showing that in what they're saying and doing, and they're not. I do a lot of interviews and I do a lot of videotaping of people, and I sit behind the camera during the interviews and I make funny faces at people because so often they look so serious and they're really concentrating on what they're saying. So I sit there and I make funny faces and I point to my face with a big smile on it and I point to it again because people forget to smile. So make yourself a happy tune. And when you're going to meet people for whatever reason, they're coming on tour, they're coming for an open house, they're going to attend for they're going to attend at another event, music or otherwise. Whenever you're greeting people as an ambassador, remember to smile, 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 smile again. Okay, other kinds of things that are best practices for our resident ambassadors would be to be brief and don't overwhelm. Now, you guys are like the fount of knowledge. You probably know more than most people about your community. Who has an interest in aviation? Who was a school teacher? Who helps with maintenance? What the culinary director's name is? All kinds of great information. But when you first move in, there's a lot of information. So we remind everybody to answer just the question asked and don't answer 15 questions. And sometimes, again, I do this too because I love talking to people. I got to remind myself, be brief and just answer what they asked. If they asked, do they have other menus other than what's on, the main meal? The answer is yes, we do. We have an alternative menu. Not yes, we do, and here are all the things on it. So, so that's something to think about. Again, I'm a talker, so I love this. I love this stuff, and I have to remind myself to just answer the question. Talk about positives that you like about your new home or your home that you've lived in a couple of years. What do you like about your community? Invite people and go. Again, asking them and inviting them to lunch or dinner or card club, your concerts, introducing them to others is really a best practice for our ambassadors. Connecting them to whomever they need for help. If they've got special diets and they're concerned about those things, you know who they should talk to, and sharing that is very helpful. Okay, meeting and greeting. So whether you're meeting visitors, touring, or you're greeting your new neighbor, it's important to use a short, prepared testimony or elevator speech. You'll see my little time clock, 30 seconds. The idea in the elevator speech is that if you got on an elevator, you could say it in the time between two floors. So it's also called the strike a match speech. Like, could you say it before you burned your fingers if you struck a match? Don't try that at home. But basically, we're looking for you to do a short, prepared testimonial. And the components of it are greeting and smiling, like a lot of seniors, and then you can share whatever, like a lot of seniors, why you decided things, something that you love about your community, and then a conclusion. Do you have any questions I could answer? So here's an example. Hi, I'm Jane, a resident ambassador here at the Pillars of Shorewood Landing. And like a lot of seniors, I decided it was time to look for a new living situation. I fell on the ice and decided I didn't want to shovel anymore. My daughter and I visited at Shorewood Landing, and we liked the apartment available and the friendliness and the services here. So after 2 years, I can say it is a really fun community, and the entertainment here is top notch. And I have a lot of friends here. Do you have any questions? So she covered again, what does she like about it? That she's a lot like them. And then, did they have questions? I said that backwards. That she's like them, as a lot of seniors, what she liked, and then does she have any questions? And here's another example. I'll sound like a guy. Hello, I'm George, a resident ambassador here. I've lived here since May 2019, and I love it. Like a lot of seniors, my kids wanted me to move home. So I came back from Arizona and I moved here. It's been better than I ever thought. We got some great food, some nice people, some fun events. We even have a pool table, fresh cookies and coffee in the lobby. If you're looking for a nice place to live, we'd welcome you here. Do you have any questions? So that gives you an idea of how to do an elevator speech. And then you end your elevator speech, or your short testimonial, as I also called it, with a smile and a salutation. Hope to see you again. Come for Friday's happy hour. Make sure our chef gives you a treat to go. Something positive. So here's where the pen and pencil come in. What would your elevator speech or your short testimonial sound like? So if you've got a pen and you've got a piece of paper, I recommend that you write down a few brief little phrases, or the phrase that I used, which is like a lot of seniors, and then why I decided to move into the community. And also use things that you like, and I recommend you write those down. And then asking if they have any questions. So those are the three components that I hope that you will take a little bit of time, whether it's right now or whether it's later, and actually do this. What I have had at times in the past with folks that I have assisted with orientations is the ambassadors did not prepare an elevator speech, and they spent 10 minutes going way over lots of things, and the guest was a little overwhelmed. And so really encourage you, if you haven't thought about a brief testimonial, to kind of put a few things down in writing and then think back on what you did put down in writing when you're going to use your brief testimonial. And then it'll be really easy. Once we practice something once or twice, it's super easy to use later. But if we don't practice it, we go, what was I supposed to do? So take a little time now and put one together. One of the programs we want to encourage you to be familiar with is called the First 14 Days program. This is a program that's designed to welcome new people who are moving in and who right now, especially, will be in quarantine. The first 14 days is designed to have them feel like part of the community, even though they have to be in their apartment. So during the first 14 days, we're encouraging all of you to call on them, to welcome them, to ask if they have any questions, and then just to serve as a phone friend. During the first 14 days, and I'm gonna stop sharing that screen and see if I can get, no, that didn't take me there. Well, there are components of the first 14 days that I'd like to share with you, but for some reason I can't figure out how to share the screen. The bottom line with that is, oh, here we go. Well, it won't show it to me. Anyway, the bottom line with it is that we invite our team members to visit with all new residents. So culinary will go and visit with a new resident, and maintenance and the executive director and the activities director, all of those folks will stop in and we'll have a conversation with the person and find out more about them. What do they like? What do they need? Show them how to use their thermostat, all those kinds of things. And we want people to feel connected, even though that they are staying in their apartment for those first 14 days after moving in. And you can be a part of that. So we encourage you, again, to welcome them, maybe send them a little card under their door, ask if they have any questions, give them a call. After the 14-day quarantine, resident ambassadors will be asked again to connect with the new neighbors. Now they don't have to stay in their apartments, and as dining rooms have opened up and fitness centers have opened up and all those kinds of things, we're inviting you to meet with them, greet with them, eat with them, show them what you know, show them where things are, and help them to grow in terms of knowledge of your community and friends. So now we've gone over what is the job, what's an elevator speech, how do you develop an elevator speech or a brief testimonial, and what the first 14 days program is, which is, again, a way of welcoming people and connecting them to the community. So what do you do now? We're almost done with the training. What do you do now? Well, we're going to order you a gold name tag with your first name and resident ambassador on it. It will have a magnet on the back so that it won't ruin your clothes, and you will get that in the next couple of weeks. You'll also get a certificate of appreciation to thank you for your time and your talents, and that will come from your staff in your community in the next couple of weeks as well. Your outreach and sales director and/or your activities director will contact you directly as tours and events come up, and we'll invite you to be a part of those things. Should you want to remind them that you've gone through ambassador training and stop and say hello to them, that would be great as well. Put on your agenda to stop and wave at them and say, I am one of your new ambassadors. They probably already know you are. And let me know what I can do in terms of tours and events. And again, we'll remind them, but you can remind them as well. So in summary of the resident ambassador training, remember to smile, 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 even with your eyes. It matters so much to people to feel welcome. And it probably made a really big difference in how you saw the people when you first came in and met them and when you moved in as well. Meet and greet when people come for tours. Remember to put together a brief testimonial and practice it. I know that it sounds very rudimentary, but there is something to be said for putting it together and trying it out a time or two. Question and answer. When somebody asks you something, let them know. The first 14 days program, again, a way to have new people feel connected to the community and to get to know the head people who do various things in the building, what they do, and to connect with you for the first time. Time after quarantine ends, again, meet, greet, show, connect them to the community as you can. And then what's next? We talked about the name tags and the certificates and you stopping and saying hello to outreach and sales and activities and reminding them that you're available to help. That brings me to a giant thank you. We could not be such a great community without all of you. You all make such a difference in how people see your community, both new people who come on tours and the residents who currently live there. So from the bottom of our hearts at Ebenezer and whoever owns your community, we just want to say thank you for agreeing to be an ambassador and for sharing your talents. And now I'm going to open it up to questions.
Everybody's supposed to smile, but how are we gonna get a good effective smile when we're wearing these masks?
You see in the eye.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Yeah.
How can we see our lovely smile with these masks on? I mean, we thought.
You're gonna see your lovely smiles with your mask on through your eyes. If you smile at somebody, you can tell that by your eyes. And eventually we know that we're not gonna be wearing masks. So it's coming, not yet, but soon. Other questions?
Will there be other training in the future?
There will, if you let me know what it is that you would like to be trained in specifically. We would be happy to provide more information.
Okay, well, I can't, I guess I'm looking at more training in general, or like advanced training, if there's anything like that.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I said, I'm sorry, is there,
They froze.
We did have a question also.
Okay, go ahead.
Will there always be a quarantine period for new move-ins?
It will depend on what the national medical teams decide. And I don't know the answer to that. As more people get vaccinated and the incidence of people getting COVID goes down, I think that will probably go away. The program, however, the first 14 days in terms of having culinary and EDs and activities people stop and talk to people, that will not change. The first 14-day program will continue even if the person isn't quarantined, or the people, if it's a couple.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
yeah. We want people to feel connected. Yeah. Somebody said something in the chat. I'll look at it. He was looking for advanced training. We'd be happy to offer advanced training if you let us know what you'd like advanced training in. If you tell me more about what your thought is on what you need to know, sir.
Okay, one thing that I feel would be good to help us
Yep.
is put everything on paper that you put up on the screen. We can always refer to it and have, so we can become more effective ambassadors.
Sure. Well, we can totally do that. I'll tell you what, sir. I will send my slideshow out and your team can print it out and hand it to you. How's that?
Bless you, child.
Well, thank you. I could use all the blessing I can get.
We'll be happy to give it to you.
Well, great.
You're welcome.
I'm a pastor's kid, so thanks.
Welcome.
All right. And this is being recorded so that folks who are going to be ambassadors and can't attend today will be able to watch. So, any other questions? All right. Well, I'm a firm believer in scheduling an hour and going less. So, so thank you again for all your time and talents. I appreciate all of you. I hope that you're having a good week and enjoying the sunshine. And again, thanks for being our ambassadors. Appreciate you.
Thank you for asking us. We're happy to.
Great. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We love you.
I love you too. That's so cute.
Thank you.